You know, when you buy something, anything really, do you ever stop and think about why you chose that specific one? I mean, every single purchase, whether it's a cup of coffee or a new car, is the final step in a surprisingly complex mental journey. So let's pull back the curtain and explore the hidden psychology of how you decide.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. When you're shopping, who's really calling the shots? Are you the planner with a list and a mission? Are you a follower, checking out what's new and trendy? Or are you a feeler, just going with your gut? Think about that for a second, because you're about to meet all the different characters living inside your head.
It turns out that experts in consumer behavior have kind of boiled it down to 4 main personalities that guide our choices. You can think of them as the 4 different faces we wear when we're about to buy something. So, let's go ahead and meet them.
First up, we've got the optimizer. Some people call this the economic man. This is the cold, hard calculator in your brain. For the optimizer, every single purchase is a math problem. This is the part of you that has a spreadsheet open comparing phone plans, laser-focused on getting the most data for the lowest price. The goal is super simple: get the absolute most bang for your buck. Emotion? Nope, not part of the equation. It's all about the numbers.
Next, say hello to the follower, or the passive man. Now, this shopper is basically a mirror, reflecting what's going on around them. Their choices are almost completely shaped by the outside world. A funny commercial, an influencer they follow, or just seeing what everybody else seems to be buying. They're not doing a ton of deep research. They're just reacting to all the noise and signals out there.
And then there's the feeler, the emotional man. For this shopper, it is all about the vibe. A purchase has to feel right. It could be the thrill of a new gadget, the comfort of a nostalgic brand, or that rush of confidence you get from something fancy. The feeler is the reason impulse buys exist. Here, logic takes a total backseat to emotion.
And finally, let's meet the thinker, also known as the cognitive man. This shopper turns buying something into a full-blown research project. They're trying to solve a problem, so they dig for information. They compare all the alternatives, and they use pure logic to land on what they believe is the most sensible, well-reasoned choice. They want to be sure they're making the smart move based on cold, hard facts.
So putting it all side by side like this makes it super clear. You can see the optimizer is all about maximizing utility, driven by that cost-benefit analysis. Then you jump over to the follower, who just wants to fit in or respond to a trend. And the feeler? Totally different. They're chasing a feeling. And finally, the thinker is all about solving a problem with pure logic. Each one has a totally different goal, a different key influence, and yeah, a different weakness too.
All right, so we've met the cast of characters inside our heads. But here's the thing. No matter which one of these shoppers is in the driver's seat, they almost always follow the same predictable 5-step journey. Every purchase is a process, so let's walk through it.
So every single decision starts with step 1, problem recognition. That's the "uh-oh, my phone is cracked," or "man, I'm hungry" moment. Then you move to information search, followed by evaluating your alternatives. After that, you finally make the purchase decision. And last, you have post-purchase behavior, where you think about whether you made the right call. It's a path we all follow, from need to, well, to owning something new.
Let's zoom in on that second step, information search, because it's a big one. It actually happens in 2 places. First, you do an internal search. Basically, you scan your own brain for memories and past experiences. Did I like that brand last time? Then you move to an external search. You ask your friends, you read online reviews, you watch a YouTube video, and, the bigger the purchase, the more external searching we tend to do. Okay, that's enough theory. Let's make this feel real. Let's take one situation that most of us can relate to, buying a new laptop, and see exactly how each of our 4 inner shoppers would handle it. Let's put them to the test.
So here's our starting point, that problem recognition stage. The situation is exactly the same for all 4 of our shoppers. The old laptop is just not cutting it anymore. The need is clear. But how they go about solving this problem, well, that's where everything changes.
Just listen to how the optimizer talks. You hear that language? Lowest possible price, specs to cost ratio. There's zero mention of how it looks, what brand it is, or how it feels. It's pure, unfiltered cost-benefit analysis. They're just trying to squeeze the absolute most performance out of every single dollar.
Now check out the follower. It's a totally different world, right? This decision isn't based on any personal research. It's all about outside signals. A thumbs up from a friend? That's social proof. A celebrity endorsement? That's marketing. For the follower, the easiest path is just to go with the flow.
And here comes the feeler. See? This has absolutely nothing to do with specs or what other people think. It's an emotional connection. The design is sleek and elegant, and it makes them feel creative. They're not just buying a tool, they're buying an experience, an identity. It's a purchase from the heart.
And finally, the thinker. You can just hear the research in that sentence, can't you? This purchase is the logical endpoint of a really thorough investigation. They've crunched the data from reviews and spec sheets and made a decision based on objective facts, like reliability. For them, the problem has been officially and logically solved.
So, after all the research and feeling and evaluating, you've managed to narrow it down to maybe 2 or 3 final options. How in the world do you break the tie and make the final call? Well, it turns out we use a couple of mental shortcuts.
We tend to use 2 kinds of rules here. Think of it like this. Are you a trade-off person or a deal-breaker person? A trade-off, or compensatory, approach is flexible. You might say, well, the camera on this phone is so good, I'm willing to pay a little more. But a deal-breaker, or non-compensatory approach, is rigid. You have a non-negotiable rule. If it's not under $1,000, I'm not even considering it. End of story.
And believe it or not, the journey isn't even over once you've swiped your card. In that final stage, we can't help but look back and evaluate our choice. This is where that nagging feeling of buyer's remorse can creep in. That little voice in your head wondering if maybe, just maybe, one of the other options would have been better. Okay, and this right here is probably the most important takeaway of this entire explainer. The big secret is, you aren't just one of these shoppers. You're all of them. The situation decides which personality comes out to play. You're probably an optimizer buying insurance, a feeler buying a souvenir on vacation, a follower picking a trendy new restaurant, and a deep thinker when you're buying a car. The context is truly everything.
So, now that you've been introduced to the team of decision makers in your head, the next time you're about to click Add to Cart or pull out your wallet, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, who's really in charge of this decision? Is it the optimizer, the follower, the feeler, or the thinker? Just knowing the answer is a huge step toward becoming a smarter, more conscious consumer.